Now we need to make it so that the player can die when it runs into an asteroid. So let's open the object player, and we are going to create a collision event, add event collision with our large asteroid. First thing we need to do is stop the player from moving. So come to Control, set variable, and we are going to set speed equal to 0. We also need to lose a life, so come to Score, set lives, set this to -1, relative. And then we need to turn the player into an explosion. So come to Main 1, change Instance, and we are going to change the self into an object explosion large and perform events. But this isn't the end of the collision. We want the asteroid to explode into smaller asteroids like it does when it's hit by a laser. So let's quickly open the object player laser. And we will find the collision with the object asteroid large. And we're going to select these first few actions. So setting the speed to 0, changing it to an explosion, and creating these small asteroids. We're going to copy that, and then we can close this object, come back to our player object, and right above changing the player into an explosion, we're going to paste the asteroid collision actions. Now once this collision happens, we need to see if we're out of lives, because that will end the game. We're actually going to have the scorekeeper do it, but again we're going to have another object set the timer. So let's come to Main 2, set alarm, and drag that above this final change instance into object explosion. We're going to select the object scorekeeper, give it a number of steps to 15, and we're going to set alarm 1. So let's go ahead and open the object scorekeeper now, and we need to give it an alarm 1. So come to Add Event, Alarm 1, and we're going to test and see if we're out of lives. So come to Score, test lives. If it is equal to 0, then we want to create our reset object. So come to Create Instance. We're going to create object reset at 320 to 24. But if we still have lives, all we want to do is create another player in the middle of the room. So come to Control, Else, come to Main 1, Create Instance, and we are going to create object player at room underscore width divided by 2, and a y of room underscore height divided by 2. And that'll put it right in the middle. So click OK. And even though the player has died, there's a possibility that we have crashed into the last asteroid. So if we still have lives and we've destroyed the last asteroid, that means that we've won. So we need to reset our alarm 0. So we're going to come back to Control and put a block above this Create Instance player and drag one beneath it. And then come to Main 2, Set Alarm, and we are going to set our own alarm to 5. And alarm 0. So alarm 0 will then check to see if there are no more asteroids, and if there aren't any more, then we win. But that's not the end, because right now our reset room will just reset the room. But if the game is over, we need to set our score back to 0 and our lives back to 3. So close the scorekeeper and open the object reset. So when we hit enter, we can determine whether we have won or lost based on whether or not we still have lives. So let's come to Score and test lives, and if lives are equal to 0, let's come to Control and drag in some blocks. We're going to come back to Score and give us set lives back to 3. We're going to set the score back to 0, and we need to set the extra life back to 1, so that when we start the game again, we'll get a bonus life at 1,000 points. So Control, set variable, global.extra_life, back to 1. So that works for this. Let's close the reset and come back to our object player, because now we have to set up a collision for the small asteroid. Let's just add event, collision, asteroid small. First we're going to stop the player, so control, set variable, speed equal to 0. We're going to change the small asteroid into an explosion, so main1, change instance, set this to other, so that it applies to the asteroid. We will change it into an explosion small, perform events. I'm going to come to score, set lives, give us -1, check relative, and we need to set our scorekeeper's alarm 1 again, so that it will check and see if we're out of lives. So come to main2, set alarm. We will set 15 on alarm 1 and make sure it is applied to the object scorekeeper. And then finally we need to turn the player into an explosion. So main1, change instance, change into explosion large, perform events. This should be ready to test now. Okay, so I'm going to make a few points here on my score as soon as I can hit anything. Alright, so let's run into a big asteroid, and it causes it to explode. And let's run into a small one, and got taken out by another one as we respawned. But the game is over, and so when I hit enter it should reset the score and our lives. And it does. So that works, and it was a little bit rushed. Dealing with the lives and the resetting and all that is a little bit more complicated than we've done in previous games. But we're not done yet, because in the original Asteroids, you not only had the actual asteroids, but occasionally there was a UFO that would come floating across the screen and shooting at the player. So that will be the next thing we need to tackle.